Okay, so this video is about my vehicle. You know, for the last 7 days, so a week, I haven't been parking it where I live. I've been walking to and from the vehicle at the end of the day, and overnight, that's where it's parked. So, I got permission from the owner to do that, to park it there overnight. So, when I got it today, when I left my apartment, they have been cursing and spelling, talking about all the lies and impressions that they put others under, and that they were acting like that. It wasn't that they were attacking me, but I wasn't in the same category as them, and that I did not have a vehicle, and that I was on the bus. So that's one thing. Another thing was, they were talking about how, you know, they couldn't believe, and this is like an ongoing curse. This has been going on for weeks. How they were talking about how they can't believe that I won't sacrifice my vehicle for theirs. Meaning, like, they want to tear it up so that theirs operate, so that they can, you know, apply false impressions and expressions to their own. That's two. What else? When I left out to take off walking, that thing, the terrorist, was just arriving. Or had arrived on cue and was sitting there parked, waiting to see me park. And I told you, whenever something like that happens, whenever they surface, they're kind of showing up to take credit for the attack. And, you know, there's always some preparatory stuff that goes on, you know, before and after. I haven't had my surveillance cameras on because my vehicle hasn't been there. You know, like, I come out this morning, it looked like some fucking rodent had been digging through the woodchuck I put down, like, yesterday. But that's nothing. So I walk, I get my vehicle. It's the last time I drove it, it was driving like it was supposed to, which was probably 2 days ago. It was driving like it was supposed to. They were saying pretty much that if they saw me as any of the neighbors, that my vehicle wasn't going to drive like it's supposed to. And the only reason that it drove like it was supposed to then was because I didn't see any of them, and I operated after their curfew, meaning they all can't leave their places at a certain time of night. So I get it. I started. It starts fine like it's supposed to, because there's nothing wrong with the vehicle, right? And I take off. When I take off, there's no squealing. You've heard me mention in the past that, you know, I was thinking that there was some condensation on the belt because it was making a squealing sound until it warmed up. Like, and that's only after it went for a couple of days without being drove. So I don't drive my vehicle every day. Like, there's times where I'll drive like 7 days in a row, but then I'll let it sit for like 2, maybe 3. And this was one of those times. Like I said, the last time I drove it was like 2 days ago, and it was probably around 3 or 4 a.m. So there's no squealing. I take off, but I leave all my things. It's raining. I leave my things at my place, and I take off with the umbrella. So I have to return to get my purse, the item I need to return, and what else was it? It was something else that I grabbed. I can't recall. But I returned to get those items. As soon as I return to get those items, while I have my car parked in the driveway of the duplex, they start doing this squealing sound. They were making an attack for that creature and those that it represents. So it starts doing the squealing sound. And I get in, and it was doing this thing where you can always kind of tell when a sensor that's associated with an engine component isn't working like it's supposed to. And right now they're flashing images, and they're talking about the white interracial couple across the street and her baby dad, and like them calling my vehicle his and saying that he doesn't understand how I'm able to keep my vehicle running. Well, I didn't get it with anything wrong with it. And maybe he didn't either, but just didn't have the money or, you know, resources to pay to get his fixed. I've never run into an issue like this with my car. Out of the 5 vehicles that I've owned 4 and had 5 total. So this is behind this shit that they're orchestrating, all this voodoo shit that they're orchestrating with these motherfuckers that they've inverted. That's where these issues are coming from. And I'm not even about to have another issue, if you know what I mean. So I take off, and like I said, you can always tell when a sensor that's associated with an engine component is kind of, because you know you'll get some drag, like not even a drag, but you'll get a not a kickback either. It's so subtle, but you feel it when you accelerate. And if you take your foot off the brake, instead of it continuing at that same speed, it'll kick just a real, like, small tiny bit before it goes to the speed that it's going to keep for a little bit. And that's what it was doing. And if it's not like a sensor, it's a valve. You know, whenever a valve isn't opening and closing like it's supposed to, isn't operating like it should, you'll also get that same effect. So at any rate, neither one of them are like detrimental. Like, you can ride for years, like, with that issue, if the vehicle is having that issue. The government, the federal government, knows how much I know about this vehicle, and they're actually mad about me knowing everything surrounding it, like what happened to it before I got it and all kinds of stuff. They're mad. That's what they're mad about, like me knowing. And they're trying to, like, kind of capitalize on my education of the vehicle. Okay, so even though, you know, I know these things, and I've been able to determine what could potentially go wrong and what is or is not wrong, and whether, you know, a line item is detrimental or not, you know, like, that's what they're trying to capitalize off of. So like I said, I ain't having no more issues. And this shit started because that motherfucker showed up. Like, they show up and make attacks for these things. And, like, the last time it took place, when they had my vehicle for a week, Mercedes, the dealership, they had it for a week. It was because this bitch was trying not to get her car fucked up. That's how it goes. They'll attack your car and claim that you're them, and that's their vehicle, and have you be the one that suffers from misfortune. That's how it goes. That's what voodoo is. This is all covert shit, and you can't say that the identities aren't associated with the government. They're the possessed. These are identities that the government is using. So, and now they're flashing images of someone else. So yeah, that happened after I went and picked up my mail. It started operating somewhat normal again. But the cursing and the spelling, it's so many things that I wanted to note. What I'm going to do is, for this video, as these things come to mind, because now they're being blocked, remote neural monitoring, now they're being blocked, I'll add them in the description. So make sure you check the description of this video. It's going to be an upload to Facebook directly, so it's not going to be a link from YouTube. But still, check the description, because I'll be adding in those things that I'm able to recall later on that they were saying about the things surrounding the matter.